But what happens is that they are then saying that being oppressed is being good.
I don't know if the Holocaust.
Yeah, well, this is the main issue. I mean, part of the reason that you see all this foolishness on university campuses too is because people have bought this idiot meta-Marxism, which is that the way to look at every social relationship that people ever have is through the lens of power. And that is, we can put that squarely at the feet of the universities, as far as I'm concerned, is, marriage is a patriarchal institution, and business is nothing but oppression, and you have to view every single situation that emerged historically as oppressor versus oppressed. And then once you get that, which you can get in about 2 minutes if you sit in a course that teaches that sort of thing, you have a lens to moralize about the whole world through. And then you see the situation is that the leftists have already decided the Palestinians are the victims. And as you pointed out, if you're a victim, then you're morally righteous. And even more conveniently, if you stand for the victim, then you're morally righteous, regardless of what you do with your own life. And that's pretty much what university students are taught from the time they enter the university classroom. And that's how they, orient themselves morally. And that's at the hands of the radical left, too, Bill. And one of the things the Democrats also have to pay the price for, I would say, is their absolute refusal to draw a line between the moderate Democrats and the extremists. They're completely incapable of doing that. Like, I've talked to 40 senators and congressmen in the last 5 years. I asked them all the same question, including RFK. He wouldn't answer either. When does the left go too far? Well, we certainly bloody well saw it in the last month, didn't we? Because they got the oppressive narrative a little mucked up, we might say. And the consequences of that are going to unfold.
Of course, if you're watching this video, you probably have strong feelings about Dr. Jordan Peterson. What he's been saying here is actually strikes a chord with me, because when I went to college, when I was a freshman, I was taking sociology. I had a professor. He actually put on the board a line to signify the spectrum between left and right. And the left and right, he was saying the more you go right, the more fascist you get, the more left, the more, let's say, liberal you get, or communist you become. And he was saying, okay, we got to get somewhere closer more to the left side, so then we can be more communist and actually help the victims, help protect them from the ruling class, which is the fascist class. And it didn't really make a lot of sense. Obviously now, when I look back, I'm thinking, I can't believe I was being indoctrinated while I was in school like that. I thought that, hey, this is a professor. They've got to be speaking truth. But as you can tell with Dr. Jordan Peterson, he is saying he's talked to more than 40 different senators and other officials and people that are supposed to, you would think, know these types of things. But it's always about helping the victim at an expense of enabling the victim. It's enabling victimhood so then people don't actually have to do anything. All the stuff that happens in the world, if things are not going to be done, it's usually because, we're the victims. We're not going to be proactive, but we're going to be inactive and basically allowed things to happen that are injustices in of themselves. So whether or not it's any kind of class perpetrating any kind of injustice towards another group of people, just because they say they're a victim doesn't really make them a victim. Victimhood, of course, can happen, but it's a choice to remain in that victimhood, and I think that's what's going on with geopolitics right now. So when in Gaza, for example, of course, the Palestinians are victims. They're victims of Hamas, right? So Hamas needs to be the one that is taken out of the picture, and Israel needs to do what they need to do in order to achieve a two-state solution, let's say. But that can't be done when victimhood is being done across the world. Anti-Semitism, all these different things where they're saying, the Palestinians are the victims. I was like, okay, you're saying that, but what is the solution here? It's complete evasion of the solution of what we're looking for. So Dr. Jordan Peterson brings up a good point that this victimhood is just a device of people that want to wield power over another person. It is a really interesting phenomenon, and it's something that I think that should really be looked into, and people need to be more aware of it on an individual basis and not look at groupthink, not look at the universities for this, because the universities have already been taken over. As I said, I illustrated earlier that I had a professor that was saying all this stuff, and indoctrinated me to a large extent. Of course, he opened up my mind to different possibilities I wasn't even thinking of before I took the class. But still, I think it's very important for critical thinking to be nurtured in an academic environment, not necessarily any kind of dogma or any kind of political ideology. But if you're going to present ideology, just make sure you do it in a way that's academic. And thank you for watching my video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.